지중해 중간에 위치한 도미니카 공화국에서는 여성들이 역사에서 민주투사로 중요한 역할을 해왔습니다. 남자와 동등한 지위는 부여받고 있지만 더욱 상승된 여자의 지위를 위하여 정부는 교육에 집중을 하고 있답니다. 주한 도미니카 공화국의 그레시아 피차르도 대사한테 들어봅니다. Came to Korea 2012?
No, 11. To Korea.
So it's now more than 4 years.
Yes, 4.5 already.
4.5 years. So among the female ambassadors in Korea, you have been here the longest.
Yes, at this time, yes. As far as you know. Well, me and Natalia from Belarus.
Oh.
Yeah, because Natalia is 10 minutes before me.
In the Dominican Republic, you have a vice president.
We have vice president. We have
This is your second vice president.
the second vice president, women. Yeah.
I think that's impressive.
And now we have running for the presidency.
But the very fact that she is she's a very, she represents a very powerful side of Dominican women, does she not?
Oh, well, she's a deputy right now.
Deputy.
The women that I'm talking about. And she's also the daughter of one of the heroines of the Dominican Republic, Minerva Mirabal.
Yes, the democracy fighter.
Yeah, that was the fight for the democracy, because from 1930 to 1961 we have a dictatorship, Trujillo's, and she fight among Trujillo's just to have democracy in the Dominican Republic, and she was assassinated by Trujillo. At that time.
What was the name of the group called?
Movimiento 14 de Junio. She was from this movement. I was a movement, was a party. Later on, they became a party, political party, but was at that time was a movement. They fight against Trujillo's to build the democracy in the Dominican Republic, but they caused a loss, even the life.
That's something I find very interesting, especially among Latin American women who are very strong. I mean, they seem to be in very traditional societies, but they also seem to be very active.
Active participation. You see, Violeta Chamorro was a president in Nicaragua. Michelle Bachelet has been president twice in Chile. So Cristina Kirchner in Dilma Rousseff in Brazil. So Latin America has a lot of example, how women has growing in developing political and social activities.
Why is that? Why are they so active? I mean, because some women in some other parts of the world are not as active.
It's probably the influence, that we have from Western style life. Yeah, the Western style we influence from Europe, from United States, and we have a mix-up, population, and we have a cultural also influence from Western country like United States and Europe, more than probably than Asia and Africa. We are no as a pure population. We're mixed up and we have influence, cultural influence.
What is the role of Dominican women inside the family? Because sometimes families, although they're families, the mother's role is a lot smaller or weaker. But I get the feeling that in Dominica it's a lot stronger, that they do not only just care for the family, but they bring in the income. So it's always been a more heavier responsibility, compared to the
different kind of family, depending on which kind of family, the responsibility. But we have more than 50% of the the labor force in the Dominican Republic is women. So it means that women have support our families more probably than the men doing in terms of percentage of the population.
Every government has their own policies in order to get more women involved in business and government. What are some of the policies that your government is using to get more women into these?
We have a gender politics,
What is the focus of your
legislation, and this focus in organize, the participation of the women participation in any role in the political, social, political, and also the government is implementing program to support, the poor population, women. I mean the poor population, population, to support them to have more possibility to be involved in other activity, not only in the family care. As an example, we have children, guardería infantil, ¿cómo se dice? Child care for since the very beginning, in the
From birth.
For birth.
From zero.
Yeah, that's mean from zero. Yeah, that's mean that the women go work, can have the opportunity to work and have the guarantee that the child has been taken care of by professionals. And also we have a program for social program, and we bonus
Provide
seguridad bonus
bonuses?
to the family,
Oh,
just to be sure that the children going to school. It's like, and we have also food provided food in the school, and 4% of the budget, the Dominican budget, has been allocated to the education, just to support this population, the poor population, to have education and to support the parents, because to be compulsory education for the child.
so
And
that
there's no excuse
not to educate
Yeah,
your children.
yeah.
So in order to educate, by educating all children, you're educating not just boys but the girls at the same time, so that
Both.
it goes.
The whole population. It doesn't matter they male, female, or male. Yeah.
Men, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Okay, on that bright note, we go back to you. Now, you have been, when you started in your career, I don't think that many women, you had that many female colleagues.
It
Do you
is.
have any?
No, it is. Well, it was not many. I was the only woman.
Why were you interested? Did your parents?
Was by chance. Nothing special, because I was working, and some friend of mine told me, we have a post in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Do you like to join us? And I came there, and at that time, and I started working with them. I was very low salary, very low position.
Very
But,
difficult. As the only.
But I
woman.
was single. I was young. I was a lot of human challenges in my life.
Yeah.
So that doesn't matter. When you're young, you don't think in too much in the future.
Yeah.
You just start work, and the future become and develop with yourself, and that's it.
And so when you started working, you felt like, this is for me.
Yeah.
I belong.
And we work as a volunteer.
Oh, really? In the
Yes,
almost.
as a volunteer, because they pay, they pay a small money.
Yes, very small money.
Yeah, very small money, and only for survive. But as I said, we want to be a career, to have a future, a better future.
Well, it's great that you were there because, a woman was participating in this very,
Yeah.
very important time.
We are protagonists of many changes in the Dominican Republic, our generation. My generation is in the power now. The president, I know the president, I have been sitting with him at home and discussing, and the former president too, Leonel Fernandez. And that's my generation. All of the deputies, all of the people working in the high courts, all of people working in the private sector is our generation. I mean, working in this career, in this working to make, the better country is now in the power.
Now I understand when you said you're protagonist. I understand now. I wasn't quite sure in the beginning, but now I understand. But then, okay, so you were young. You had ambitions. You had big dreams about your country. After a while, you have a family. You get married. You have a daughter. Do things change? Is it more difficult? Do you have to now think of different?
It's a balance. I think it's a balance. Balance between, because in my case, my husband came to Korea with me. When I was very, I don't know how to say it, surprised, upset. I don't know how to define it. But when my president, at that time president of the Dominican Republic, called me, I was in Panama as ambassador.
Yes.
And he called me. He wanted to talk to me. But I didn't, realize why he wants to talk to me, because I only have 2 years in Panama. And he make an appointment. And when I sit in there, and he said, I want to, Korea is an important country. I've been there in 2008, and I would like that you be ambassador in Korea. And I was, very surprised.
Never expected.
Never expected. And I said, give me at least a week to think about, the proposal that you have done. And I got back home, very, it was like a conflict of interest.
Yes.
How can I tell to my husband that I going to South Korea? And when I get home, I talked to my husband, and he said, no problem, I'm going with you.
I like your husband. I think I really like your husband.
I'm going with you, no problem. Tell to the president that, yes.
Oh.
So I start to prepare our new destination in Korea.
Our final question
Oh, okay.
is, because you represent the Dominican Republic in Korea, we figure that all our female ambassadors are in some way or another global leaders. So the question is, okay, we're gonna imagine that you are president of the world. Imaginary.
Well, the fantasy that might be the relationship between young population and the oldest people. the relationship, the make closed a little bit the relationship between young population. I don't know if I can explain it, because sometimes the gap between young population, I mean the
young population,
the population and the oldest is so
wide.
yeah.
So we don't understand each other very much.
Yeah, very much. I think we have to do better to understand to make the better world.
Maybe understand people from, yeah. I think you're right, that people from different generations, older and younger, have the most difficulty in terms, because they live in a different world. No?
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yes, but things change so fast these days. The change speed is so fast. Changes are happening so quickly that I don't know. It feels like when we were young, things were much slower.
Well, I think it is. It has been, you're right. Things change so fast. But we have to run ahead the time. We have to run ahead the time.
True. But then our children will probably have to adopt very fast to another different world.
Yes, but I don't know if our generation was very short time. We're talking about only 10, 15 years that they have a life. We have only 15 to 20 years to be in the high level, understanding everything.
It's an entirely new world that came about.
Yeah. It's something
I
very,
understand. Yes.
very, not only, and we I don't know how we did it, but we did. We did.
Yes, you did. Yes, we did. We'll see what happens later.
Yes.